A friend of mine gave me this big old sander. Didn't want it anymore. This thing is substantial. It's good for tabletop sanding and maybe some floor sanding, but it's too large for what I need as far as using it for that. But what I do want is a benchtop sander. So I've got these pieces laying around from a modified drill press. And actually there's a disc sander over there that I built out of a thrown away drill press. But I've got the bases from both of these that in some way I want to fashion with a stand to hold this up in a vertical spot for a desk workbench sander. So I'm going to see if we can make that happen. One thing that's going to have to be done is this is going to have to be taken apart. There's no lock switch to hold that trigger down. I've looked all around this thing and there's no lock button. So this will have to be opened up and some wires taken out so we can have a regular switch. Real simple, just wired in a line of about the same gauge to put a switch externally. So the trigger was taken out, white to white, and we broke the black line to put a switch in. I'll probably feed this out of where that trigger was, and then eventually it'll be all nice and neat and zip tied and attached to the base that is still to be designed. Okay, haven't tried this yet. Switch is wired in. We'll see what happens. That just feeds out of that hole down there. So let's see what we got. Alright, that's the first part. Something I did, I figured while I had this thing all opened up, was to blow all the old dust, sawdust, grit, whatever was in there out. And it's interesting, I bought this off of eBay within the last year or two and was not impressed with it. I've got another quick little video of this thing. I thought it was a toy, but for blowing out sawdust of tools, it's perfect. I've been using it a lot for that purpose. But this has all been cleaned out, and now we can put the cap or the side cover back on. This is kind of my thinking right now. Something along these lines. Still taking notes and thinking about it. For the support, this is just 3/4 inch plywood squared. The size of that is 16 by 24. It's 2 feet by 16 inches. And then 3 2x4s stacked up will be enough for the base of that sander to be attached. And these are the 3 pieces of 2x4 attached. The next thing is to cut that support brace and angle it so that it's square with the board. This is just a little cheat trick to make this square. So this is level, this line is level, so we just mark that, and then we'll hack the top off after we get this cut done. And that's nice and tight. It's a real clean seam. So now what I want to do is level this off here. There'll actually be a little bit of a sanding area here with a flat piece also for curved areas. But of course the main sanding is going to be on this side with a deck of some kind. And with our fancy paint booth, a little bit of brown paint, and we're looking a little bit better. That shows the sander attached to the stand. You can see that cut down piece of PVC at the bottom that slides in that track. It's just a general opening down there. And then the top piece just gives it a little extra space that trued it up and made it nice and tight at a 90-degree angle. And that's all attached. The brown sanding disc belt matches the brown of the stand and the mount. The next thing to do is to design a platform for in here. So that'll be the next phase. I also need to track down a dust bag so I can attach that there. The switch is all in. Just bored out a hole and then found a big washer that went around that 1/2 inch switch, and then just drilled a hole on either side of the washer and just tacked that down. The wire in the back here, it's pretty dark, but that's just nailed down with U-wire nails. This holds it down so tight I almost don't even need this back bracket. I'm amazed at how strong this is. These lag bolts go down about that far and it's not going anywhere. Some WD-40 on the plastic sander and it looks really good. And do take a couple extra minutes to spray paint these. A few minutes really makes a difference in the end. Old carpets are great for keeping paint off of important things. I keep a pile of these around. Coming together, this will be the deck. I keep everything. I never know when I'm going to get into one of these weird projects. This is actually the dust bag that came out of that inexpensive blower that I've never used. And incidentally, it fits almost perfectly onto the end here. There are these little nubs that I think I'm going to Dremel out a hole here so it can go in and turn. But other than that, it's really close. I can't quite squeeze it enough to get on here. But hey, it's in the shop here, don't have to buy another one. Everything's nice and trued up here. Switch on this side. An extra little side benefit, this opening in the front fits perfectly for storing extra belts. You can put a cover on the front with a little slot in there. You could hold some extra sanders, different grits, and things like that. That's the finished product. Came out really nice. The little feet on the bottom give it some nice traction, little rubber feet. The deck is at a 90-degree angle against the platen, against the base of that sander. Switch and everything works fine. That bag fills up, and I think we breathed some new life into this old sander that was pretty much given away, getting ready to go into the trash. Thanks for watching.